Heartache when you feel in pain, when you end up in a desert and I wonder why the hell it not rain, when them pass them judgments and every word left a stain, when them talk up the things in just to mash up your life and give you bad name, them think you're weak but I less of them blunder, bad mind I think them left your business asunder. Don't give them that power. Show them you can be stronger. Just take up
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And we are we are back with you for another segment of Activated Mornings program here on WEFM with Roleza and my good friend Maka.
Lyf.
What did I do? Roleza, what did I do?
This boy, nice.
So, how is everybody this morning?
Lyf, good morning. I wonder if it's you the minister was talking about.
Which one? I think both ministers spoke
oh yeah, sure. He was actually mentioned twice.
He didn't call my name.
He was mentioned twice, actually. Yeah, he was. Look. It was Terrence Oliver and Andrew John. Yes, Andrew John. Yes, they both mentioned you indirectly yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was Terrence Oliver.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mr. John also spoke about it too. So, as we all know, majority the bonus. Well, I guess everybody should have. You hearing me?
All right, go ahead. Let me hear now.
Hello. Yeah. So, I guess by now everybody who was supposed to get the bonus on the salary have received it by now. I'm guessing. But as I said yesterday, there's a small problem. People did not read the fine print as usual. People are not I don't know. Okay. I'm getting a little clear. Okay, yeah. So people are not really people are a lot these days because of social media. They don't read a lot. They read headlines or whatever, and basically they might read the first or second paragraph or something and then move on. So they didn't read the fine print on the bonus thing. So they didn't see this word called prorated. So even if they saw the word, I don't think they fully understand what it meant. So when the bonus hit some accounts, it didn't show 2,000. Some cases it showed 100. I understand some it showed like 3. The bonus was given. The fine print said that if it didn't work for a year, you wouldn't get the bonus. You would get a portion of what it is, which is they prorated it. So you get a portion of your salary. You want to get the full 2,000. So some people did not read the fine print. So when the bonus hit the bank account, it was basically like 100, 200, 3 something or whatever. So that is creating a big problem. And the social media mob is attacking people who are making that observation that they didn't get the full 2,000. So social media is tearing them apart. Oh, why y'all making noise? Some of you didn't vote for Unity Labour Party. Some of you voted for the Union Labour Party. Some of you didn't vote for the government. Y'all ungrateful. Some people didn't get any. Why y'all talking about it? Take the money and go about your business or whatever. Social media is being very social media is doing what social media does, right? People getting cursed. You understand? But most people who got it, people who got the full amount, they are thankful, they are grateful. I hope people spend it wisely. I hope some people put it aside. I hope some people act like they didn't get it at all and just leave it there or whatever. Because as I said yesterday, and I'm sticking to it, if you go and bad spender today or you bad spender during the weekend, next week, you're going to be joining the people the prorated people and cussing the government because you're about to spend your money. That is what is going to happen. You understand? And what is strange is like supporters of the New Democratic Party are disrespecting other supporters of the New Democratic Party on social media because they are complaining that they didn't get the full bonus. That's one thing I noticed too. Like, supporters are against supporters now. In some of the instances where someone who voted for the NDP might say something, and another stand supporter. And I notice now, most of them that cussing the ones them that cussing is the ones them that don't live here. The supporters that don't live here are cussing the locals, right? And that is to me that is counterproductive. You know what I mean? There's certain things that you're not supposed to tell your friend out in public. If you have a problem with something, you support the same cause, you all support the same, you all vote, you all wanted to see the same policies that are now being implemented or whatever. So now why you're cussing one another on social media? That make no sense. But anyways, that done with, we go stay tuned, right? Yesterday was the first sitting of Parliament. Well, the second sitting of Parliament. We saw the swearing-in of the opposition. Dr. Raf Gonsalve, Carlos James, Kisal Peters, and then we saw the debate. The estimates were presented or whatever. And as usual, the opposition leader, Dr. Raf Gonsalve, he was in his element and he basically broke down the estimates. A lot of the presentations were good. I was actually surprised that Carlos James's presentation. He was on point, you know. I mean, he looked the part. He looked like if he had the House of Assembly experience, the parliamentary experience, and he did a good job. Kisa Peters also did a good job. I was glad to see my friend Chelsea in Parliament. You know what I mean? Everybody was most people were on the game, but a lot of people are beating up on the government side of Parliament, right? Because of the way Dr. Raf Gonsalve broke down the revenue of expenditure, estimates and revenue of expenditure. But what you have to understand is that he rightfully said that he's the grandfather of Parliament. He's been there for 30-something years. So you can't expect somebody who now coming in and somebody who've been there for 10 years or 5 years to have the experience that he has. That he has been doing it for a very long time. You know what I mean? But Parliament is going to be the new reality show for Sylvia inside the Grenadines. Mm-hmm. And I think yesterday a record number of people tuned in on social media.
And because even after 10 when it finished, there was still 1,000+ persons.
There was still 1,000+ people on it, and you don't normally see that, right? You don't normally see that. But what I don't like and what I can't stop is the disrespectful comments below the live. That you can't stop it. But if you're criticizing something respectfully, okay, no problem. If you don't like the Unity Labour Party, no problem. If you don't like the NDP, no problem. But you see the body shaming and the disrespectful comments about private parts and all of this. I think that I don't know if there's a situation where you could like actually stamp out these things or like edit these things out or stop these things. You know what I mean? Because it's really, really, really disrespectful, and so many comments just like go against certain people's sensibilities, right? Because it's just like really, really, really disrespectful. Really disrespectful. I don't even see the reason for it.
To answer that you said though, I know that VC3 normally has there's a pinned message at the top saying I think disrespectful comments will be deleted or something to that effect. So you would need to have somebody monitoring the comments and doing that. But I know VC3 normally has a disclaimer.
Yeah, or even probably block the person from that particular life when they be disrespectful. Maybe you could add them back after. Because it's just really, 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 really disrespectful thing that being said. For what reason, I don't know. For the life of me, I do not understand why people get so disrespectful because of politics. Then after all this disrespect, aimed at certain people. Somebody post a photograph with Minister of Foreign Affairs Fitzgerald Bramble sitting in the house having an amicable discussion with the opposition leader. You know what I mean? So just a waiting. But as I said, it was very exciting. You saw the new government putting things in place that they see fit, but then a lot of things are notably absent. Seems as if the prime grant program was cancelled, which a lot of people were actually looking forward to. But in place of that, they said something about a development bank, $500,000 to fund a development bank. I guess they would expand on that when during the debate.
They spoke a little bit about it, saying that yes, it's 500, but I think what it is that I couldn't understand, and I was kind of giving it a little bit of time when the budget presentation is actually done before commenting on a lot of the things, because they said that it's 500,000 to start it, but
right.
This for administrative costs? Is this for, let's say, rental of facility, whatever, building, whatever? Like, I don't know what's the fine-tuned. And I can't remember if it was Prime Minister Friday who said that it would be topped up in a sense. But I think if you just have to see it put down on paper, 500,000 to start a bank for persons who might be looking to get loans, etc. That is a small amount to start with. So yeah.
I think the deficit, right? You notice the deficit was 105 billion or something like that. 105 billion or million. I should have had a figure in my head basically, because what they're saying is that, man, okay, let me be realistic. They're going to have to have supplementary estimates. They're going to have to find money to fund some of these things. Notably, they said that CBI was $10. You know what I mean? And yeah, Senator Peters was asking about it or whatever, you know. But that $10 can't set up office, $10 can't pay staff, $10 can't do nothing really.
And
so people wondering.
The explanation for that as well was they're not quite sure if they would need to have a director and that sort of thing. Something to that effect was mentioned. And I'm there thinking about, if you've been talking about this for so many years, you should know exactly what needs to be in place in order to get this up and running. So I didn't quite understand, didn't quite follow why it's now at this point, it's there as a placement holder, but you're not quite sure of what all needs to be in place in order to get it up and running. There are a lot of things that was said that I have a lot of question marks over, but I said, you know what, let me just give it the time until the budget presentation itself is done and then comment fully. But yeah, I had a lot of question marks over a couple of things.
Lyf, I think I see something with the Prime Minister resident.
Oh, that was people. Okay, Senator Carlos James was up in arms over the 1.5 million something. So
yeah,
$1.5 billion and the 600,000 for the vehicles. He said it amounted to 2.1, and then they saw a reduction. They saw he was basically saying that they saw reductions in other areas. I think that the opposition leader mentioned that there was a reduction in the cost of spending on housing, and there was the amount allotted for the payment to for we just call poor relief was less, and it can't really pay for the amount of people that are on poor relief, and they said that they canceled the building of the administrative complex in Shatibile, but they mentioned administrative complex building in the Southern Guyanese Union and Mairo. But I think the administrative complex thing in Union and Mairo, they're going to be, I think that's just to put fittings in them and put staff in place, because I think they already have buildings designed for that, because they mentioned that the ferry terminal in Mairo that was built by businessman Ian Wace will be used as a kind of administrative complex, right? So that's just about putting washroom facilities, probably AC and furniture fittings and staff in it or whatever. I don't think it's actually buildings that are going to be built, right? I think that the because of the government is new and they're just coming into power, so they're probably thinking of like creative ways of financing certain things, so they had to cut back certain things that the ULP had planned. Yeah. Because obviously the ULP is a more experienced government and they was in it for 25 years, so they know how they would fund certain things, they know where the money would come from or whatever. But they now coming in, they have to like now try to figure it out. So I think that's why a lot of the cutting and spending was showing. Maybe when they figure things out, they come back with supplementary estimates or whatever. But right now, I think like a lot of people, like finance people, I'm not a finance person, I'm not a numbers person, but from what I'm seeing, a lot of finance people are concerned about the deficit.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I kept hearing on the NDP's, the government's presentation yesterday, they kept harping on it over and over, is that they were dealt a bad hand. And this year is not so much about this, and I hope I'm quoting it correctly, but this year is not so much about economic development, but being able to sort out the economy. That's the impression that I got, to sort out the economy.
Yeah. And as I said, right, it is well in the new government's right to blame the former administration for certain things. It's well in their rights. Let's be realistic. No matter who you support, it's well in their right. If they come and honestly say that this hasn't been done and that hasn't been done and whatever, we can say, okay, cool. But how long will people accept that?
And that was also my other thing as well too. Is it a case where maybe they can, because one of the other things is that they were saying is that, so it's not done in this year's budget, right? But that doesn't mean they have 5 years in office. So that doesn't mean it's not going to be done for next year or the following year, etc. But the point that you're making is correct. Is it that we're just going to allow them to see or allow them to feel or allow them to sort themselves out for this year, but from next year, you're going to hold them even more accountable?
I willing to do that thing. I willing to do that. Realistically speaking, I willing to do that. I willing to wait and see, because like, oh gosh, it's just been say November 27th. But this is where the problem comes in, right? Politicians on our sides from all over the world usually do this. They make promises that they know they can't keep, and then they end up in problems. Not just politicians from civilians, politicians from all over the world where run up them out, talk things during campaigns, talk things during sitting in office that they know they can't do, and then people expect it, and then people don't get it, and then it's a problem. You know what I mean? They knew they were in opposition, and they were always saying that the numbers were not adding up. The country was in an economic crisis, people have cost of living crisis, or whatever. So then why was certain things promised during the campaign when you're saying this thing from the start? Now, the bonus, as I said, people are glad for it. People were looking forward to it. A lot of people voted for it, but maybe it shouldn't have been said. Maybe you should have said that, okay, when we come in, we're gonna pay a bonus, right? So if you come in and you give people 100, 200, you say you're gonna pay a bonus. I can't vex. You say a bonus. You never said double bubble. The trying to be like St. Kitts is what caused the problem. But people have to understand
that it was going to be like St. Kitts because it was an assumption that was made.
The thing is, right, St. Kitts is a smaller public service. St. Kitts actually has that enshrined in their budget. So St. Kitts that is something that St. Kitts does, and that is something that people look forward to, right? So you throw this out, and now you had to do it, and then end up in a problem.
Yeah.
Because because basically the finance people, whoever were crunching the numbers, were looking for loopholes where they can pay less than what they had to pay. Now, statutory corporations, employees of statutory corporations are disgruntled because they didn't get a bonus. The Prime Minister said that when the boards are in place properly, maybe they can look at paying the bonus if they can afford it. Now, employees of VINLEC, you're going to tell VINLEC employees VINLEC can't afford it? right? CWSA employees, you're gonna tell CWSA employees that CWSA can't afford it. You're gonna tell AIA employees that the farm administrator of both they was making a profit now. They can't afford it. People are going to want to accept that. People are going to be vexed. You know what I mean? It's to me it was something that helped them, but then I think it going to come back and bite them in the bam,
Yeah,
bam.
I do remember having an exchange with Lapon when there were certain things being said about this is where they're going to find money from and so forth. And I remember having the exchange with her on air about, it's one thing for you to say certain things when you are on the outside, but when you get in, you don't know what the actual figures are. And I think now that they are in, they are seeing what the real figures are. But there's another thing that I note that in the elections itself, coming up to the end of the elections, when the NDP stated that they were going to do away with school fees, like children were not going to be paying the CSEC fees and I think the fees, right? That was also mentioned again last time. But part of me is wondering if the government is now going to be paying these fees, but the $500 that students would get,
right, if they're going on,
if they're going to defer that money from that to be able to pay for the fees, but I haven't heard anything said. So that's what I said. I don't know if it's in the budget that we would hear that kind of breakdown. I probably just need to read it myself, but I don't know if you're going to get the $500 or if that money, what they've been deferring is going to be placed in this new area to pay for the exam fees.
What we seeing from debate, what we see is that like certain areas are cut out, but certain areas are now being funded because these areas they're using the money for certain areas, and that's very interesting. Like if that's going to happen for real. Now you see that CXC thing. That CXC thing is not really a good idea. They shouldn't make it so broad, right? Because in Jamaica, they do it in Jamaica, right? But what happens is that they lose money on it because they pay the money for everybody. Like just send one big check to CXC, whatever the amount is. But before the exams come up, there are students that decide they're not doing the subject. There are people that don't turn up for the exams. They were encountering a lot of problems. In relation to, and CXC don't give back money. So the Jamaica government actually considering stopping the practice because they were losing money on it because people didn't show up because some subjects were dropped or whatever. You know what I mean? They were losing money, so they were actually thinking about not doing it. So maybe they could do it. Okay, it's not a bad idea because nothing that putting money in people's pocket I would talk against. Maybe Vincent, when it comes to these things, finding money to pay for subject and thing, people usually find it. So maybe what they could do is after the subjects are done, after they finish writing the subjects or whatever, and 6 is over, maybe they refund people. Maybe you keep a receipt, you keep your money, and then they have a probably mobilization office in mobilization or office in finance where you go and present your receipt and present show that the person did the subjects or whatever, and they actually went and wrote the subjects, and then you get a refund like that. Maybe because like a lot of the things that they are talking about doing, a lot of the things mentioned was like taken from other countries, and they would have like a model they could look at and see the problems and see the issues before they themselves come into the same issue. But the main thing is people asking where the money coming from. People are really seeing the money.
Well, people were asking the question even before. People were asking the question even before. So you see, if CBI is implemented, right? We know.
Before you continue, though, Lyf, I am actually. I want to hear from Vincentians whether or not they are in agreement with the CBI thing. It's like I know it was talked about during the elections, but now that the government is in power, how do Vincentians actually feel about the CBI program? I think many of us or many persons just thought of it as being something up in the air, like it might not come true or it might not be a possibility. But what is the view of Vincentians with regards to this program at this point?
Anybody ever thought that was a joke? I never thought that was a joke, but a lot of people were supporting it because the party was saying it. You understand? They were supporting it because the party was saying it, right? But listen, okay. CBI, right? I had a experience with CBI even before people was talking about CBI. I actually learned about CBI while traveling to it was a couple of years ago. I was traveling. I went on a program in Belgium where the European Union had taken journalists from the region to Belgium to show them how the European Union Parliament operates and what the EU was actually doing for the Caribbean people, right? And when we arrived in the UK, we went up to the it was an entrance to the UK from the UK, and we went up. Everybody went up to the immigration officer as a group, and one guy from Dominica, he was pulled from the because some Dominicans have a strong French accent, like, you know what I mean? And I don't know if it was a sort of a profiling, like, but they had taken him from the line and they were asking him about his passport and what's that, and they actually detained him, and then it opened up more scrutiny of him, where they found out that he had a sister in England, and they were asking if he wanted to, if he's going to run off and stay with his sister, and is he a Dominican? Did he get a passport from Dominica or whatever? And they eventually like let him go. So when we went to Belgium now, we were asking about it, and one of the officials there said that yes, it's something that is being done now by these Caribbean countries, but they are going to see a problem with it. And I'm talking about years ago, right? This was years and years ago this happened. It's probably when it was just starting to be implemented by Caribbean countries. So these countries always had a problem with it. And to me, like, it's a stupid thing. Like, for want of a better word, people tell me don't use stupid, but it's a weird thing to me, because, like, okay, think about this, right? Roleza are not allowed. Let me just say, you're not allowed to go to the United States because you need a visa in your Vinci passport, right? And then you decide, okay, here we happen now. They may want me come because I'm a Vincentian, because they have this screening process for Vincentian. So I go and buy a UK passport and beat all the protocols. You understand what I mean? It just is really weird. Like a Chinese man, a Chinese, an Asian person who does not speak English, who has never lived in your country. He has a passport and he just gone in the certain countries in the EU that ban his country because what? He able to purchase a passport from another country, but that just defeating all the protocols and all the whole screening process. So it was a weird thing. So I think that the bigger countries allowed it because they saw it as an economic benefit to the smaller countries, and they like to call us colonies or whatever. But now they're having a problem with it because it's creating a problem for them. You know what I mean? And if I'm an immigration officer and you come in with a Vinci passport, and I know St. Vincent is a place in the Caribbean that speaks English, I have a certain accent, all the people look away, and you're full Asian and you can't speak English, what will stop me as an immigration officer from turning you back and telling you your passport fake? You know what I mean? I will be well within my rights to do that. Because that's how immigration operates. Because there are Vincentians that have gone to England with the rights, and they said something stupid to an immigration officer, probably of a relative there. You have a relative there, and then they put you to the system, and they see that the relative's overstaying, and then they don't let you in the country for that. They just look for reasons not to let you in. So if I'm an immigration officer and this Chinese man comes with his Vinci passport and I decide, boy, me alien he in. You know, I wondering how often that used to happen. That has happened under these CBI programs. But from the budget, we need the CBI. We need it. If it's going to generate the amount of money that it's generating for the other countries, we do need it. You know what I mean? And the campaign on it. So I don't know what is the stance now. Seeing the budget, I don't know if they're saying, well, we can implement it this year, we implemented it next year. And I don't know if this could happen. I don't know if we could piggyback on somebody else's own. Like if that could happen. Like,
No, I think what is being said is that the shortfalls of the others who they're going to use them as examples of what not to do.
yeah, I heard that, which is sensible, which is the same thing I was saying they should do with the CXC payment thing, right? But what I'm saying now is if that they're gonna have it managed by an outside entity, so we don't really need to set it up in St. Vincent, we don't really have an office here, we don't need the infrastructure here, whatever. If they're gonna do it through a third party or whatever. I don't know. But I'm just saying that from the way the budget looking, we need some sort of serious influx in cash.
And
you know what I mean?
That too was what it is that I am not getting in terms of what is actually there for economic development, what new measures are going to be put in place. I didn't get that, at least from the presentation of the estimate. So that's why I said maybe I would just wait for the budget. Let me see what what the budget actually details. But I'm seeing all the expenses, yes. I'm seeing all of what is going to be spent. But in terms of what we're going to bring in to cushion, because the budget has to be both income and expenses. So, yeah.
I want to fix Atley Hall. I would love to see Atley Hall fixed. I don't know if it's salvageable at this point.
The marina, you mean?
Yeah, the Atley Hall marina, yeah. I don't know if it's salvageable like that, if they need like 20-something million to fix that, because like the last time I went there was like probably like could be like 20 years ago, and it was in bad shape. It was working, right, but it was in bad shape. They had a lot of rust and stuff breaking down, and some parts were dangerous to walk and what's that. But I would actually like to see that fixed, because like when it was just a shell, because at one time it was just a shell, it was operational, right? And a lot of boats used to still go there for walk. So I would actually like to see that fixed, though. I think that would generate some nice income, some good income with put some good income into the country. I would like to see a lot of more training programs for youngsters, like mechanic training program, mechanic, electrician. I like to see a push for that.
But
because trust me,
that program already exists, though.
No, a push. It exists, but I ain't seen a big push. I ain't seen a big push on it. You know what I mean? Listen, you see, some of these youngsters that end up in prison on firearm charges and murder charges and things, really young. And one time my friend Elton Bailey of Cash Money Investments, he had started he was funding a mechanic program in the prison. And they were actually mechanics that were volunteered to go in there, and because mechanics always thought, well, they need apprentices, right? So they were actually mechanics that were volunteered to go in there and train people. And they used to do it. A lot of people, a lot of prisoners were taking part in it, but I don't know if it still goes on. I don't think it stopped. I think it stopped. That was a good program. Some of these youngsters that in there for these firearm possession and firearm charges and things, shooting people and things, is like young people in the 20s, early 20s. So it makes sense to.
They have the carpentry as well in the prison.
I don't know if these programs are addressing the youth population, or if it's more the older folks who already know how to do it, right? You remember Vanny, they had the vetiver program in there where they were making a lot of money from these crafts and things. So I would like to see a push towards that, mention or something there in the budget. You understand?
But no, I think something was mentioned about it. But even under the ULP's administration, as I mentioned, there's a TFET program. But I keep hearing politicians make mention of these push for programs for young people. But sometimes I do wonder, is it the programs, or is it the programs themselves that are the problems, or persons not wanting to take part in the programs? Like, how do you actually tell somebody, all right, stop lying on the block and go learn a skill? Sometimes it has to, you also need to be able to have that self-push, that self-motivation.
The St. Community College has programs, right? That some programs in some TVET programs, as you call them, that a lot of people were taking part in, like plenty people. But the problem with that is not helping the youngsters and the black, because the black not interested in that. The people who are going to that is the people who are interested and the people who would not get in trouble. And who want the extra training to learn electrician. St. Community College has a program like that. Man, listen, when St. Vincent want a law like Barbie, there's a loitering law. where police could go upon them blacks, them problematic blacks, and a lack of people for loitering. Me talking about people. I ain't talking about people outside. I ain't talking about people outside a shop. Outside a shop liming, you know, and like the older people outside a shop liming, playing domino, drinking, some people smoking or whatever. Me talk about them there. I talking about the bold face man. Then we sit down on a block every day and sell crap
every day, yeah.
and sell weed.
Let me tell you a situation, right? So it might not have been last year, it might have been the year before. I don't know if it's skills training or whoever. They were going around in the communities. At least I heard it in Clear Valley. And they were talking about some programs that they have coming on stream, etc. Right? The truck stop right where the guys and who does be liming. So the whole message, you can't say they didn't hear the message, the whole message was heard. So I remember one of the guys I was asking a couple of days later, I said, well, you know, instead of lineman here, the truck pass, they have programs happening down at Bethel. He has to tell me something about why he didn't have the time to go and register. Like some of these guys, the message didn't reach right inside their ears. But they do not want to take part. So which is why when politicians talk about having more programs and wanting to engage the young people, it's not that the programs are not there, it's that they don't want to capitalize on them.
Listen, hit them with a lawyer in charge. Hit them with a lawyer in charge, right? And you go court and the magistrate tell you your penalty is you get registered for them program. And it is being monitored. Hit them with the loitering charges. Them you go see so fast them in them program day. You know what I mean? Hit them with we need the loitering. We need that. In Barbados, you walking up and down somewhere in some area as a thief man, police passing you lock up and loitering because they know you. The police them know the man. Then we're wasting time on the block. The police know the troublemakers them. You understand? We're doing here. You walking. You having a drink by the shop or whatever. You're here selling crack, you're here selling weed or whatever, loiter in charge. You go court magistrate say, I give you 2 months in that program. And I guarantee you some of them will go into these programs and like these programs and learn a trade. That's what we need to do. You know what I mean? Because it's they will be realistic. The people in the communities know the bad people. The people in the police know the people them who could be hit with them kind of charges. We know them.
But like, you know them guys gonna find somewhere else to go and loiter.
Well, find somewhere else to go loiter. Yeah, but at the end of the day, some of them is gonna get caught in it, and some of them is gonna end up and get put on the right path. You understand? Show them in the program. If they ain't learning, well, you're learning. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. At least you try something. But the community college have some programs that a lot of people were they oversubscribe. How they so popular. A lot of people were going into them and getting I don't know if it's certification or whatever, but a lot of people were taking them up because they spoke about it in a function last year that when they had a huge graduating class from these programs. But yeah, you know, them
guys who are conductor on vans and thing, man. Guys are studying not true.
You see that van culture again. That van culture need to get addressed too.
You actually saying that they want to work. I know some of them. I want the boys in Clear Valley hear me. But anyways, some of them, I just get the impression that as long as they're able to find something to eat on a daily basis and drink from, they're good, right?
Yeah. That's the problem.
Everybody cook one pot. We eat a good food today, and that's it. That's the impression that I get. But I do it every day.
a lot of them are good. A lot of them are good. A good family structure, right? So they could lime all day, and they could eat breakfast. They could come out lime. They could eat lunch. They could lime. They could eat dinner. They could lime, and then they could go find somewhere nice to sleep. They have somewhere good for sleep because they are a good family.
Yep.
And like. Although we have broken families and people who don't really subscribe to family, savings is predominantly a place where your family will keep you in the house. They gonna make nice with you. They gonna make nice with you, as we just say. They will argue with you. Let me speak properly. They'll argue with you. Go get a job or whatever. But at the end of the day, they may refuse to give you some food, and then your neighbor again refuse to give you some food. You understand?
And now a banana tree growing all over, breadfruit tree growing all over.
Exactly. And you might be liming in a group on the block with 10 men, and in the 10, 4 of them had a job somewhere, so they go come back and they go buy the strong rum when they don't work.
Exactly.
And they go come back.
Correct.
Yeah, they go come back and buy the food for your cook, the chicken back and the rice and thing, and they go bubble pot on the black. You understand? So that's how a lot of these guys living. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I know there's a lot of issues, hard to solve or whatever. I actually met a group of youngsters a few years ago in Rose Place. A whole set of them. It was like 20 something of them. That was before they moved Rose Place, and they were just there like all in the morning. A young lady was there. She was like 60, 70. She had a young baby there too. And they was smoking weed and thing. And I had to tell her, yo, you can't make the baby inhale any smoke and thing. And like, but a lot of them was saying that they wanted jobs. Right? I actually wrote an article on it. A lot of them was saying that they wanted jobs. And how I had met them is that one of their friends had got shot and died. So I had went down there to talk to like relatives of the guy or whatever. And I met all these youngsters, and like none of them was over 21. None of them was over 21. None. And I was saying, like, how old you be? 15. Why you in school? Parents have no money for sending, but you got a big spliff in the mouth. You know what I mean? Like, we were what? And it was I was telling you, that was really, really weird to me.
But
all these youngsters there.
How many places have houses knocking up, and how many persons from the communities are actually working on some of these areas? Sometimes in some communities, I can speak for Clear Valley, sometimes there's people from outside the community who are working on some of the houses that being constructed. Coming in as a laborer. When you
I have a friend say, okay, yeah, I understand the argument, right? But I have a friend say not everybody not everybody could do those kind of jobs, right? A laborer job is a very hard job. Not everybody could do those jobs. So that's why we need to have like different thing, like a fisherman. Maybe the older fisherman them could come and say, you come go fishing with me today. I go pay you 20. You know what I mean? Maybe he goes and he likes fishing. So it's like it's like
I'm gonna tell you how $20 is small money. I ain't working. I
but
ain't going out.
No, they do you know, but maybe they go and they get the 20 and maybe they get 5 pounds of fish to go sell off their own. You know what I mean? Maybe it need a community environment. They need people to get back to that kind of way. You know what I mean? I met this guy. There's this guy, right? And
all right, like
he used to.
I realize yeah.
Yeah. I know this guy in town. He's be walking up and down in Kingston. He went to school with me, right? And he always used to meet me and ask me for money. So sometimes I give him a little $1, $2, whatever I could afford to give him or whatever, right? So one day I told him that I knew someone that was looking for somebody to come to the house on an early morning, clean up the yard, wash down the vehicles or whatever. And the man tell me out of place.
Oh.
This is a man who's scrunting his job is scrunting, as we just say. His job is begging people in Kingston. And the man cuss me and tell me I out of place. Why would I think that he want to do something like that? You know what I mean? And then what thing happened? A couple of months after, there was this mentally unstable man that went off his rockers in Kingston and beat people with steel. He shot a couple of people with steel, and one guy died, and he was one of the persons who got his face disfigured and was in the ICU for a while because of that. You know what I mean? So, you know, as I say, so many guys want to help, some of them just set in the ways, but you know, what we could do. The budget address certain things, and we hope that it could actually find a creative way of helping some of these people and the corners or whatever. You know what I mean? But
all right, you know, we could go on for 2 hours. Legit, I think we could go on for 2 hours.
Yeah, I know people listening and tell me that I should have done come off because I need to just talk. I need to stop talk so much. I guess some vex with me for the comment in this other gallery, so they say I just talk too much. But
all right.
But I would always say what I see and what I agree with and not agree with, not just on this program, but anyway in any public setting or private conversations. I always say how I feel. You know what I mean? And me singing for no supper. Me have a sing for no supper. You know what I mean?
And that is what should we encourage, you know, just people being able to speak. But anyways.
At the end of the day, if I feel I live in Stevenson and I have a sing for my supper, I don't take up myself and go back overseas and drive my truck with me have a sing for myself. Eh?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
On Monday, I guess you and Maka
All right.
in the place for a drink because Maka
Oh.
wants some of that, you know?
I don't.
It's 2,000.
If Maka does,
right?
I don't smoke and I don't
You don't drink.
I don't drink too much. I just drink measured. You understand? So if Maka drink measured, we come make a line.
All right. And I go shop and drink a Vitamalt. All right, we go to
not too expensive. I go buy ginger. Like.
All right. Let's see y'all Monday.
Yeah. Take it easy. Yeah.
For you too. All right. So that